Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Tea Time with Barry and Larry. Definitely not Gary and Terry. Today we're going to talk about a monument has been erected in New York, and just really funny stuff. Today's just a funny one. Just a lot of humor and some mail. And tea, of course. Barry and Larry, who I believe changed their identities to avoid paying taxes in Ibiza. Okay, let's see if we're live. Let me check my chat. Good morning, everybody. Okay, so I got some funny stuff for you. First off, I can't do a long stream today. Yesterday I was going to do an hour. I did almost 3 hours. So I have a lot to do, a lot of building stuff, a lot of farm stuff. So I can't just keep doing this. If you want to super chat me, you can go to entropystream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy. And of course, P.O. Box 490, Sandpoint, Idaho 83864. Get your Bertaria Times app. Check out the funny stuff at Bertaria Times, like good content. It's family, wholesome, clean. And of course, you want to escalate for the good stuff. You go to unbearablesmedia.com. So, hi, Michael, you still have all your time? Yep, all of them. All right. So here's some of the, we've decided we are going to start competing with Babylon Bee because their shilling for a certain ethno-state in the Middle East is becoming a little ridiculous. All right, so here's a couple of the new ones. Conservative host looks to own the libs by slowly adopting all their positions. And of course, there you have Steven Crowder, the Christian conservative. You can find that at unbearablesmedia.com, at unbearablesmedia on all the social media platforms. Start sharing this stuff. We're going to beat the bee. Here's another funny one. Anti-Semite thinks lower class humans have complete control over them. You don't know where I'm coming from. Am I going to mock the J or I'm going to mock the Nazi? I just am going to say the truth. I think it is ridiculous to think that a group of people that you've deemed subhuman have control over you. Heh. Here's another funny one. We can steal more bikes than black people, says white supremacist. Another funny one could be like, we could make more pornos than Jews, says white supremacist. Here's another funny one. Heroin addict faces backlash for refusing to get vaxxed. That's happening right now. That's why being a comedian is the easiest thing is you just say what's real. And it's just, ha ha ha. Here's one just for the B. IDF battalion designated for Babylon Bee social media likes. That I'm going to go out on a limb and say is not, that's true. The Babylon Bee's shilling for Israel is wild, and nobody likes it. Like, even in the comments, everyone's like, yeah, but the opposite. Like, yesterday, they literally did a fireworks display to sell weaponry. Oh, the Iron Shield, is it holding? Well, those aren't missiles. Those are fireworks. Oh, shut him down. You're anti-Semitic. Okay. All right. Are there articles for all these headlines? B has articles? No, we don't have any articles. The B is... the headline is the only part that anybody cares about. The article is like a wasted... Nobody reads the article. You just see the headline and you get a laugh. Am I wrong? I don't know. Chat, what do you think? Do you think we need full articles, or do you think it's just funnier to... We will have articles? I mean, do we even need articles? The Iron Dome worked better before the J clipped it. Hilarious, Archie Bear. People don't read. That's what I've been told. People don't read. Well, once you get the joke, you don't really need to read it. Like, when you see these hilarious things where it's like, conservative host looks to own the libs by slowly adopting all their positions. Like, I guess that one could be a funny article. We'd be like, you want to know how to really show the world that the LGBT agenda is disgusting? First, we got to suck their dicks, and then we got to let them fuck us. Says Steven Crowder, Canadian conservative patriot. Be like, being in my mid-30s without any children from Canada makes me really patriotic for America and a Christian. All right, this one is great. Anti-Semite thinks lower-class humans have complete control over them. That one makes me laugh because it's so true. It's like, these disgusting bottom feeders, if you're any part of these, if you're even a quarter G, you're disgusting, you're like a low, and then it's like, and they have complete control over me. Everything I do is controlled by them. It's like, I thought you just said they're really disgusting. It's like, yeah, they're subhumans. There's subhumans that are so low they have control over all the humans. What? This is a great one. We can steal more bikes than the black people, says white supremacist. I'm sick of all these people thinking that these black men... No, it's like, they took our jobs. I don't know. That one, I think the headline's fine. It's just so obvious. Heroin addict faces backlash for refusing to get the V. That one's just really fun. I don't know. I guess the articles could be really funny, but I don't know. Reddit trolls spend endless hours scanning content of comedians they can't listen to anymore. God, write that one down. That's a beautiful one. Reddit troll spends endless hours scanning content of comedian he can't listen to anymore. That's perfect. It's like, it's endless. It really is endless. This is the real chat, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's a real chat. Reddit troll that's a great one. Reddit troll spends endless hours scanning content of comedian he can't listen to anymore. That's perfect. Wow, good work. No need for articles. The title is everything. 80-20 rule. It's so funny. Thanks for making them. Oh, yeah, but you guys got to spread it. Let's start building. We got a bunch more. And because I made the claim, I warned the B. I said, if you're going to shill for Israel and steal my jokes, which they do all the time, I'm going to start competing. And yeah, there'll still be 1,000 clicks to 1 for a long time. But we do know that the IDF battalions are the main audience for the Babylon Bee. They just sit around and click. Like they literally do have these farms of computers where you get these IDF battalions to just sit there and click all day because they've been so brainwashed into thinking that Muslims are shooting missiles at them that look exactly like fireworks that don't explode. It's just crazy. My friend Benjamin Balderson was in the Army, and that was a big eye-opener for him. He was like, yeah, when I was over in Saudi Arabia just watching a fireworks display trying to sell weaponry, I realized I should just get some more alpacas. They really do that. It's like right out of Iron Man. They shoot off all these like fireworks and they're like, are you scared? And then they like blare this loud horn to make everyone feel like it's a bombing raid. And then as soon as the fireworks stop shooting, the horn goes off and everybody's like, wow, that was a real close one. Real glad we spent like $100 billion on the anti-fireworks missiles. It's crazy. Got my vax from a dude under a bridge, craving second dose now. That's funny. No, I was thinking more like the social shame around not getting a vax is greater than the social shame about not doing heroin. All right. And speaking of, imagine being alive in this time. For everything that right now we're like, oh, okay, people are so stupid, they're asleep, they're sheep. No, it used to be way worse. Watch this. This is a video from the March of Dimes. And as we all know, a dime is 10 pennies.
Dr. Berry of the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston, Texas. I have astronaut Ken Mattingly with me, who has a special interest in both moon flight and the dreaded effects of the rubella virus.
Travel to the moon is only one of today's challenges. Future adventures and their challenges will require a generation equipped with healthy bodies.
By the way, just real quick, look at the dead eyes of that guy. But that's not a normal missile. So missiles are really fast. It's like, right? That looks to me, and I can't prove it, obviously. Then prove it. Go back in time and be there with those dead-eyed people. It looks like a balloon with a flamethrower on it. Because, like, if you can't just, like, film it like a rocket. Like, you can't film it like that. It's just not a real thing.
It's only one of today's challenges. Future adventures and their challenges will require a generation equipped with healthy bodies and sound minds.
We need to protect future generations, for all should have the chance of sharing these adventures of life. Rubella in an expectant mother threatens that chance by causing birth defects. We now have a vaccine to prevent this tragedy.
This vaccine is available to children today as a one-time shot.
Look at those eyes.
Let's camp out rubella by having all children receive their vaccinations today.
No, thank you. By the way, they say that thing behind him survived a vacuum. You ever see a vacuum chamber? They need 7-foot lead walls. Anyway, yeah, they just tilted the image. Yeah, totally. Dude sounds like Don Pettit. Yeah, they're like, rubella will cause bad things in your baby. It's just snake oil salesman. This is none of it's new. It's all the same thing over and over again. It's like, fear, fear, fear. The answer to fear, the answer to fear, the answer to fear. You won't feel fear. Fear, fear, fear. Don't you want to go to the moon like our brave astronauts? Then inject yourself with poison. I think the acting's gotten better and the deceptions have gotten better. I think back then it was like crazy that people believe this. They're like, the astronauts are going to the moon. Don't you want to be an astronaut who goes to the moon? It's 1971. Everybody in the world will have went to the moon by 2021. Everyone in the world. We will have shopping malls and a lot of fun up there. But you won't be able to go to the moon if you're born with an ear on your forehead, will you? Take the shot. Watch it again. This was seen as real.
Nations today.
A March of Dimes, which is 10 penny. Here we go.
Dr. Berry of the Manned Spacecraft Center in Houston, Texas. I have astronaut Ken Mattingly with me, who has a special interest in both moon flight and the dreaded effects of the rubella virus.
Travel to the moon.
By the way, in your life, have you ever seen the dreaded effects of the rubella virus? I'm 40. I'll be 41 in a week or 2 weeks. Use that voice. I can't take it without busting out laughing. Yeah. He's psychopathic. Yeah. These are psychopathic snake oil salesmen. They go, NASA, yeah, BB, most people have been retarded for several generations. I think they're waking up now, which is why I think the world's going wacky. I think, I can't believe people believe that. They're like, inject yourself with it. Never been heard of rubella. The entire virus thing is ridiculous. So injecting yourself with their vaccines, like, I don't know what, like 10% of the population in the world, that got rid of rubella. I've never had a rubella vaccine. It's like, what the hell's rubella? They're like, don't you know? Rubella is a horrible disease made by DDT. Oh, I mean, it flies through the air and it's invisible and it's a scapegoat for all your horrible living. The key is animal plus exotic place plus human equals nonsense spell. Monkey, Africa, AIDS. It's not because you're butt banging in a bathhouse for 5 straight days. It's that someone banged a monkey in Africa. Bat, China, COVID. It's not because you live a terrible life and your lungs aren't working properly. It's because someone ate a bat in China. Black plague. Rat, China, pox and death. It's not because you're drinking poison water in a poison place with no sanitation. No. It can't be that. It's even like same with mosquitoes. Zika virus, the Zika. So it's like you got mosquito plus Brazil equals shrunken baby head. You don't want a shrunken baby head. You're an expecting mother. You don't want your baby to be a shrunken head. Swine flu. Mexico plus pigs equals the swine flu. And then you got people like, but Big Bear, I was sick during swine flu. Yeah, because you're an alcoholic. You drink alcohol all the time. And you have poison thoughts and you think you're your own God. It's pretty obvious. That's why given the sequence of events, the cure is always the problem. You know, AZT killed more gays than all the pickup trucks in Texas. Article in RT said that scientists think Chernobyl is going to blow again due to right. That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, there's no nuclear radiation anywhere. Okay, so they set off all these nuclear bombs. Think about how dumb the nuclear bomb spell is. Because right now with the war in Israel, fake, all fake, they're going to scare you with nuclear bombs. Oh, they might go nuclear. Really? Why is there nowhere in the world with radiation poisoning like everybody said? Oh, no, Bikini Atoll. Oh, miraculously a place no one can go. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, there wasn't 1 week where people couldn't go there, or fauna or plants. Chernobyl is now a thriving wildlife zone. 3 Mile Island in Pennsylvania, zero fallout, zero radiation, nothing that they said. Oh, no, but don't you understand? You have to wear a spacesuit and then have a little device that goes click, 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 click. Really? I call bullshit. Oh, then go to Bikini A-hole. I can't go to Bikini A-hole. They don't have flights there, but I would. What about 60 miles outside of Vegas when they exploded all those nuclear bombs? Isn't there higher cancer rates there? Wouldn't there be a radiation fallout? Fukushima? Oh, no one can go to Fukushima. Yeah, they can. There's no It's never been witnessed ever, and you can literally understand this. There's nowhere where there's heavy metal poisoning places. But there's no nuclear bombs. There's big bombs. There's bombs that are horrifying. But the real fear that they get you with is poison forever. You know, the lakes and the soil will be poisoned for 1 million years. No, it won't. But it will, though. We'll do it. Do it. We will. We got the button. Press the button. We seriously will, I swear to God. Do it. Press the button. I'm not going to press the button because I care about the future generations. No, it's because there's no fucking nuclear bombs and we all know it. All right. Panzer says, hey, BB, you're fucking cool for real. Big shout out to Steadfast Bear. Thank you. Mike says, I'm squirting again. Outdated. Mike, stop squirting. Berserker Bear says, best stream ever already. Thank you, Berserker Bear. Only potentially 1,000 people might eventually be affected by the events at Chernobyl. I don't believe there were any events at Chernobyl. But I know there was. Why? Because you have memories planted in your brain from the show Chernobyl by HBO. Okay, what have you experienced in your life outside of a TV screen that makes you think any of this stuff is real? I know it. I was at Chernobyl. I heard the sirens and the... No, you watched a television show. Do you also think there's dinosaurs at Jurassic Park? You think Germans are just waiting behind a bush, waiting to turn you into soap? It's like people really believe these movies. They really believe in like Contact. Oh, there's aliens. I saw Jodie Foster talk to one. Really? You know that was all make-believe, right? That was all not true? Is the magnet sticking to Vaxu people arms real? I say odds are, I don't know, 0.0001. No, of course it's not real. But the heavy metal, no. That's not how heavy metal works. A magnet wouldn't stick to your arm. That's ridiculous. Because they're also trying to make you extra scared about Vaxi. But Big Bear, Chernobyl zombie wolves. Oh, I know. Would you guys want to see the worst acting you've ever seen in your entire life? Watch this. And no, I'm not talking about me and House Bunny. Let's see here. What's that guy's name? Oppenheimer. I am become death. Watch this. This is when I knew Joe Rogan was like a retarded ape.
5.
Like he watched this and was like blown away. He was like, "Oh my God." He was like, "They really, when they talked about the Bhagavad Gita." Oppenheimer, watch him fake cry. Dude, this is like the worst acting I've ever seen in my life. Watch this. And bear in mind, since this, there's been 0 nuclear bomb explosions. Hiroshima, Nagasaki, not nuclear bomb explosions. There was no radiation fallout, and they weren't even more destroyed than other Japanese cities. It was 15th and 17th. On the ground, it was reported that it was fire bombings. Why didn't America get those reports? Because the State Department had one Lithuanian Jew who reported for the event through the New York Times. Why didn't anyone else report it? Because if they did, they were killed. There was an execution order for anybody that reported anything outside the official story for Hiroshima and Nagasaki. So then why did Japan surrender? They surrendered 5 days later because 1.5 million Russians invaded Manchuria. There's no nuclear bombs, guys. They spent, trillions on an entire war, but no one's ever exploded one ever? Why would they lie? Compliance. Because if you say you have a gun under the table and another guy says there's a gun under the table, nobody fights. When you realize there are no guns under the table, you're like, oh, there was never a gun under the table? It's like, no, I was holding my penis. All right, watch this. This is fascinating shit. All right.
4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, and by the way, when you go back and look at, what was it, Fat Man, Little Boy, or like all this stuff, it's claymation. When they show the ships in the ocean, they're fake. It's like clay models. It's crazy. Like that. And by the way, that mushroom cloud can exist from a giant explosion of TNT. How dare you not be scared? How dare you not squirt all over myself?
In the dead silence of the morning, at 5:29:45 Mountain War time, the Jornada del Muerto
Mountain
was
War
bathed
time.
in an intense flash of a light that man had only seen from the stars.
Think about that. So there was this one event that nobody that was there got to report on. The results of the event did not match up with the story. There's no poison lakes or radiation fallout or anything. The claims, the nuclear physics behind it is total bunk. My nuclear physicist friend once told me, I said, are nuclear bombs really? Says, pretend they are. Act like they are. That's a quote. There's no chain events. You can't do fission. None of that is what it is. In reality, nuclear energy comes from boiling water through just rods that are always hot. That's all it is. Doesn't even cause cancer, allegedly. Watch this. It's the worst acting in history.
Laughed. Few people cried. Most people were silent. I remembered the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty.
He's not really crying.
To impress him, takes on his multi-armed form and says, now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
I suppose we all thought that when we're... You think you're a destroyer of worlds, alien head man? Go ahead and try and destroy this world. I will, I swear.
J. Robert Oppenheimer, credited as one of the fathers of the atomic bomb for those...
Okay, so where's this bomb you speak of? Oh, look at it. It's in the TV screens. Just like Corona and shootings and all this stuff. He's a destroyer of buttholes. Yeah, yeah. I am the destroyer of buttholes with my 8 arms for jerking everyone. All right. And this is the craziest part. People don't want to let go of the trauma. People go, how dare you, Big Bear? Nuclear bombs are real. I saw it in my TV screen. You're going against the history of it. Because the nuclear bomb thing justified Vietnam, justified Korea, justified all this murder. Because people said, well, we can't let them get the bomb. We can't let Hitler get the bomb. We have to kill 20 million Germans. Don't you understand? We can't let him get the bomb or else our children will all die. Really? Which bomb? The bomb from the alien head man. We have to protect Israel no matter what in the Middle East. Why? Because they have the bomb. Which bomb? The one that was described by the sorcerers and wizards. I used to have to hide under my desk as a kid. There was no bomb. All right. This is really funny. Why do all youth pastors have this exact energy? I just want to share this. This made me laugh.
Sir Mark here. Just want to take a second real quick to tell you about what's coming up this Sunday at the Zone Station.
By the way, is that Theo Vaughn? Watch this.
Sir Mark here. Just want to take a second real quick to tell you about what's coming up this Sunday at the Zone Station House. We're going to have pizza, Jenga with the big blocks that comes up higher than normal Jenga. Don't forget to bring your pagan friends who would otherwise be out, doing drugs and having sex and kicking little kids. We want to show them how God parties, guys. We want to show them what it looks like to have pizza and games. And we've got a special presentation. I'm just so honored and so humbled that we will have with us former minor league baseball player Scott Scontos. He's going to be sharing about how God almost used him as a baseball player. Pizza guys, movie guys, games guys, it's going to be amazing.
It's so funny. Hey guys, it's me, Pastor Mark. Do you want to have a pizza party? Tell all your pagan friends, because they'll be sacrificing goats. Is this real? No. It's so close that it seems real, but it's not. Oh, Barrett Balik just sent me, I want to be a better boy coffee, and Ira's back straightening roast. One sip will make you straighten up like Ira when he found out Carl Brown was unclipped. Oh, Jesus. That's hilarious. All right. Hey guys, it's Pastor Mark. Don't get me wrong though, I think kids do need a place to go. I think having a youth center would be a really good charity thing, where you have like a youth center, because kids need a place to hang that isn't vice driven. Don't get me wrong. I just still found that very funny. I gotta get some of that stuff. That made me laugh. Yeah. Hey guys, it's Pastor Mark. I'm just here to, be one of you guys. Like totally cool. Yeah, it's almost like those youth pastors act like Dare. Remember Dare to keep kids off drugs? By the way, stupid paraplegic bear sent that to quote unquote Amy's husband. That's what he wrote on the package. I'm so glad he's in a wheelchair. All right, this is called Relation of the Mineral Salts of the Body to the Signs of the Zodiac by George W. Carey. Oh, Jesus. Thank you very much. I just heard you say you don't read much anymore. Neither do I, because I'm a something, drowning in gravy. But this is maybe a 10-minute read. I'm finally mailing this. Thank you. Oh, I'll read it. That's short enough for me to read. I just kind of blame my bad eyesight on reading a lot as a kid. Oh, did I show you guys that there's finally a giant statue in New York dedicated to the falling of a hero named George Floyd? It's called Ooga Booga. Guys, that's real. That's not a joke. They really made that in Rockefeller Center. That's ridiculous. Guys, they might as well call it Ooga Booga. It's like, of course, it's a Luciferian torch holding, but it's like a giant, it looks like an aborted baby. This is a statue to all the babies. Like in 1,000 years, you could say that this was to remember all the aborted babies that the blacks killed. It's like an Easter Island head with a giant nose, and he's holding a torch. Because, of course, the Luciferian Rockefeller Center has to always have a torch. WTF is that? That, my friends, is Mr. George Floyd. Because he's gone but not forgotten. Watch this. And Mr. George Floyd, here he is. Ooga Booga. Oh, I'm Benjamin racist for saying Ooga Booga. I'm not the one who made a giant Ooga Booga statue in the center of Rockefeller Center. It's like trolling. It looks exactly like George Floyd if he was an aborted baby. Jar Jar Black, that's a funny one. He's ascended. Look at him. Funded by Planned Parenthood. Hilarious. We can kill them, and we can abort them, and we can mock them, but if you point any of that out, you're racist. Okay. I get it. I mean, the Rockefellers are trying to get rid of him for once and for all, but I find it very dark. But did they get the rubella vaccines? Wonder if they'll knock it down. I don't think they're knocking this baby down anytime soon. Look at it. It's a little baby with a giant George Floyd head holding a torch. I mean, that's crazy that they actually did that. All right, Star Wars pursuing legal action after the Rockefeller statue. Yeah, it's Jar Jar Black. It's top heavy. Yeah, I mean, that's like an Easter Island head painted black with bigger lips and a bigger nose and sunken black eyes and a giant forehead like he's starving. All right. Good times. But, oh, and Benjamin, the rated one for pointing out how fucking psychotic our statue is. Jar Jar Bling, that's a good one, God. Like, can you imagine being like a black guy and being like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And then the Rockefellers are like, hey, we're just trying to show you how much we care. Look at your giant nose that you should not be ashamed of. Look at your big voluptuous lips and your fucking sunken eyes like you got aborted. It's like, it doesn't sound like you guys are on our team here. No. Take the vaccine and shut the fuck up. Okay. In the world of the upside down, the guy making fun of that is the racist. Good times. Don't get me wrong, like, I don't want him around. But I don't want to kill them. I just think we should all do our own thing. All right. Like, I don't want to live near him, obviously. What, am I crazy? But I'm not saying we make, like, statues mocking their heads and their weird noses. And giant lips. It's like, imagine doing a statue of Ira for Holocaust remembrance. Like, don't get me wrong, a lot of the BLKs have crazy noses and mouths and everything. But not that crazy. Like, they don't have sunken eyes and a giant head. Unless they're, like, dead. All right. But I mean, when you've killed, 100 million of them before they're born, it does weird stuff to your head. It's like they're trying to probably make up for it. Like, I'm so sorry, Darnell. It's like, dude. What is this? This is called, this is like a Chinese book or something. All right. I'll read that in a little bit. Oh, we got some more super chats? Nice. All right. You can see that alien guy smirk when he says they are the destroyer of worlds. Creepy. Yeah, it's called Duper's Delight. He knows they can't destroy worlds. The Manhattan Project was retarded. Oh, I saw that TV. You're stupid. The boob tube. Okay, well, meanwhile, I'm living in paradise, having a wonderful life. If you want to just call me crazy over and over again, you're in Stockholm syndrome. You've seen a lot of death. I'm guessing you've seen a lot of death in your life, right? I've seen a lot of death in my life. How much of it came from nuclear bombs? Let me guess. 0? Absolutely 0? Well, I know, but it could kill all of us. Everybody dies. All right, dear Big Bear, I started following you in January 2020, and becoming a bear was the best thing that happened to me. Thank you. I'm going to do this first. Now, thank you, Etymology Matters, very generous. The good, the true, and the beautiful, may I please be verified as Something Bear. Welcome, Something Bear. Testing, says Greg Abbott. Looks like the test worked. Since then, I've acquired a garden, 12 chickens, and started a small business that makes my soul smile, all on less than a quarter acre in New Jersey. That's amazing. You and Amy have been absolute inspirations, and I'm so grateful to be part of this community of crushers. God couldn't have put me here at a better time. Please accept these gift baskets from me, one for Amy for Mother's Day, and one for you for Father's Day, as a token of my appreciation. All the products are handmade by me with all natural ingredients and a dash of love. Keep crushing, Maggie Plonsky Bear. Let me plug your business here. Maggie's Home Essentials. Awesome. Deodorant spray. Looks like some jelly and stuff. I'm excited to bring that downstairs to my wonderful wife. She gets so pumped about baskets. As do I. Think how many have died in wars trying to prevent nuclear weapons? Exactly. Guys, it's like time travel is how wizards operate. So it's like problem, reaction, solution. You create a problem that doesn't exist. People react, and then you provide the solution that you never could have done without the fake problem. Oh, thank you, Maggie. That's very generous. Oh, this is to Amy. I will give that to her. All right, so this is the Chinaman's book. Let's take a look at this. Greetings, Big Bear. Thank you for sharing your comedy, knowledge, and family life. It brings me joy to see someone living the way we are meant to. I like how you talk about taking personal responsibility and not trying to take on the world's problems. As we see the ones who do such, as the CDC, WHO, big government, etc., end up wasting resources and only making things worse. I hope to see, by the way, that's now called anti-Semitism, to say you're wasting resources and only making things worse. But, and the people that are making it called anti-Semitism is the IDF battalion designated for Babylon Bee social media likes. Those are also the same battalions that are just sending missile after missile called likes and retweets towards people that shill for them. And then they also retweet hate against the people like me, who points out that they're nonsense and that there's no Iron Dome and that was a fireworks display to sell weaponry. It's really stupid. War is coming. Everyone be scared. Israel's got nuclear bombs. They swear they'll press the button. They're crazy. They're so neurotic they can't go to a grocery store without wearing fucking rubber gloves. You think that if they even had a nuclear bomb, they'd press it? They can't even breathe in air that hasn't been, like, scrubbed clean by mama. Bunch of fucking psychos. I hope to see communities coming together in my lifetime and start working for each other. Yeah, like the Builder Buddy program and the Farm Friends. It's not slavery, we swear. All right. It's also anti-Semitic if you hope the pedophiles in Hollywood go to prison. Yeah, I know, but forget about all that. I get what you're saying, though. Yeah. They don't need to go to prison. I'm not going to make any claims. I remember reading an article where this guy did the math and figured out each individual only needs to work a couple hours a week to maintain a good quality of life for everyone. But math, because he's Asian. I see what you did there. But since we all need our own fairies and lollies, fancies and lollies, we're enslaving ourselves for material goods. And as a society, we're going backwards. A simple and natural solution is always the best. But our so-called leaders triple down on insanity, like Coddington chasing the big score at the casino. It hurts my brain how uncommon common sense has become. However, I stay optimistic for the future as the cream always rises to the top and the truth finds the light. May I please be verified as Grounded Bear. Welcome, Grounded Bear. That was awesome. You're right on the money. Okay, what do we got here? BB, it's Scagnetti. Ever since I put down the badge, I've been quarantined by my own despair. This damn heroin addiction, and most of all, the very real and terrifying fear of the deadly coronavirus. I've been watching you daily, and I've overcome a lot. I'm off heroin, my gout is clearing up, and that green smoothie detox, the things coming out of good old Scagnetti would make a German pornographer blush. I've got a garden indoors, of course, safety first, and I've been reading this book called the Bible. I only knew of it as the thing my pimp used to beat me with. Good book. The one thing I just cannot let go, no matter how far I've come, is my fear of COVID-19. You're crushing it, BB. If you can get through to an old dick like me, then I can face my greatest fear and face those mean streets one last time to find Danielle and get to the bottom of what really happened to Gary and Terry. I've spent a lot of time ass up 911 feet off the coast of Ibiza, deep undercover. But before Mahoney even joined the force, it was the mid-'80s and I was deep undercover as deck boy on Robert Maxwell's yacht, the Lady Ghislaine. I had all the dirt, and my superiors at home never did anything with the evidence. That mission is what started my beef with the captain, along with my poppers and snorting AZT phase. One thing I learned is that the human body rots from the ass down, and there is no way the official Gary and Terry story adds up. I've overdosed on synthetic barbiturates a dozen times, and never once was I able to hold that position. and I'm a pro. By the way, you know where I got synthetic barbiturates from? Was Eddie Money overdosed on synthetic barbiturates. The guy sings 2 Tickets to Paradise. I'm no Mahoney, which is why I hung up my sweet devil's trap years ago. That youngin' really took to it, and I'm proud of him. He always stays in character. I just got back from Ibiza, my old stomping grounds. After thoroughly investigating the crime scene and reminiscing about my first gang rape at that dumpster behind the docks all those years ago, I met up with an old contact. He informed me that those bodies did not exactly resemble the description of Gerald and Terald. Apparently one was described as wee slight man with a small hat under a cowboy hat with a tramp stamp branding. Quote-unquote Gary's. The other man was described to be larger in stature, wearing a dress and something called ranger panties for undergarments, with a tramp stamp branding Terry's. Only one thing found on him, an address that led me to Teva Pharmaceuticals in Israel. I know the place well. I've picked up scripts for Mahoney whenever I was in town. What did I find, you ask? The mother lode. No, not the documents. It's a sailboat that an old giggling gay couple bought off one of the boys in the glittering department. Last anyone heard is the local shop was out of tea, lube, and mittens. I'll tell you something you didn't know about me. I can sniff a fag in the wind like you can break spells. And all those Gaius Soze's pulled all those Gaius Soze's pulled one over on everyone. Where are they headed, you ask? Well, I'll tell you. Now for the ice wall, to the land of tipped giants, as they would have you believe. To the real gravy, only told around native campfires and only the most based of glory holes. The North Pole, the center, the sacred gravy, and no, not that bar in Fairfax in your old stomping grounds. I'm waiting for Moon Jazz to pick me up in the airship, and then Sightbear, who gave me eyes to see, along with any Bertarian legends that wish to join. No adjacents, though, as that may open the door for Milo, and although I hung up the old undercover moves years ago, best not to test my resolve. Before we head out, we need to stop by my old precinct, as I need to see the captain to get my aviators back, and I think I've earned them. Scagnetti. P.S. About Danielle, I may be damn good cracking the case of Gary and Terry wide open is one thing, but finding a victim-conscious white girl in the projects with a brother named Tyrone is a bit much, even for an old vet like me. I'd suggest you call an old crime-fighting crusher I know from back in the day, Cycle Cell Holmes. He's just the man for the job. Bola Bear. Hysterical as always. I'm gonna play the Scagnetti cartoon. One second. That was great. Animators. Let's go to Be Grateful Bear. And then we go to the latest, which is Damn It Scagnetti. All right, here we go. For those of you that don't know the character of Scagnetti, here it is. 1 second. Let's get it big. Hang on, that's too big. Now I can't check if it's like working or anything. All right, let's not make it that big. Actually, I can probably just move it around here. And thanks to everyone who's donated to Unbearables Media to keep this show going. Servers, web access, all this stuff. It's huge because these guys kept getting kicked off YouTube and now they're not kicked off anywhere. There we go.
Here's my badge, sir. Pick up your badge and gun, goddammit. Goddammit, I can't do this job anymore. You put on that mask, goddammit. You've been shot 14 times. The last thing we need is someone to die of the deadly coronavirus. I need at least 3 masks, because even then, I'm not safe. I've been stabbed, shot, raped. I OD'd on a synthetic barbiturate undercover. But the last thing I need is a virus with a 99.9% survival rate that still might not even exist. God damn it, Scagnetti, put on the mask. Sir, I've been shot, stabbed, raped, and fucked. But the last thing I'm gonna do is expose myself to the coronavirus. I hear it's novel. Scagnetti, you live on the edge. You put that mask on and you get the fuck out there and solve some crime. God damn it, Captain. I've been through hell and back more times than you've gotten out of bed. With all due respect, Captain. So why aren't you getting out there, Scagnetti? Because there's something called the COVID-19 out there. You get out there on the street, Scagnetti. You live on the edge, don't you? Don't you? Listen here, Captain. I've been riding the edge for too many years. 7 divorces, 6 stabbings. I can't get out of bed without a shot of heroin. I do it between my toes so no one sees. I've been hitting these streets busting criminals since you were just jizz in your daddy's balls, Captain. But one thing I will not do, not for you or the people of this city, is put myself at risk for the deadly COVID-19 virus. Captain, don't you know it only has a 99.99% survival rate, and that's including people with obesity that are like 90? What would I say to my grandmother? Captain, I know that I've got my grandmother kidnapped before from undercover work. One of my grandmothers got killed by an ex-gang member. But the last thing I want to do, God damn it! I know I live on the edge, Captain. The last thing I want to do is bring home something that makes them sniffle. Send Mahoney. God damn it. God damn it, Scagnetti, you get the fuck out there and you go save the day. Like you always do. Captain, this is my resignation. Take my gun, take my badge, this ain't worth it no more. I put up with a lot of shit. I once got gang raped. One thing I will not do is contract COVID-19. I remember when I lost my mind. God damn it, Captain. There was something so pleasant about that day. Even your emotions had an echo with so much space. I was gang raped twice, Captain. For the taxpayers of this city. How am I supposed to snort cocaine off a pimp's dick so I don't blow my cover if I have COVID-19? When you're out there without care, I was out of touch. I know I live on the edge, Captain, but there's nothing worth that. It wasn't no enough. I just knew too much. Take my aviators. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? My daddy was a cop, his daddy was a cop, his daddy's daddy was a cop. But I will not get COVID-19. Probably. Come on now, who do you think you are? My daddy never blew his cover.
Bless your soul.
He's been in a gay relationship for 21 years, just so no one knows he's a cop.
You think you're in control? Well, I think you're crazy. That was so fucking funny. Well done, Be Grateful Bear. Well done indeed. BB, it makes me laugh against my will. I just laugh raped you. God, that's funny. God damn it. And I know the churchian, like, retards are like, did you have to say God damn it? Yeah, that's how cops talk in movies, you fucking retards. God damn it, Scagnetti, you get in here. Captain, this is my resignation, god damn it. God damn it! It's like a parody of itself how much they say god damn it in any cop show, any cop movie. Don't get me wrong, I love The Shield is my favorite show. But did you have to say god damn it? Thank you, BB. Anytime, honey old bear. Godspeed, Scagnetti. I've been shot, raped, and fucked. But the one thing I won't do is put my loved ones at risk for a virus that has not been proven and doesn't kill anyone. If that's okay with you, Captain. So much backstory behind him and the captain's really hostile relationship. If that's okay with you, Lieutenant. Hey, Big Bear, you read my letter about crypto last week and things got a little heated. Yeah, I can see that. But while you were reading, you raised some important questions that I'd like to try to address. First, I just wanted to make it clear that I'm not recommending that any bears invest in crypto. I see your sales technique. A little push-pull, a little hot-cold, ain't that right? Barely listening, Bear. I fully expect 99% of tokens to go to zero in the next few years. So I think your recommendation to steer clear is ultimately good advice. Go on. Sounds like someone's buttering me up nice. That being said, I don't think there's anything wrong with accepting crypto for donations and learning more about how the technology works. See, I don't want to encourage a single person to get a purse. It's gay. A man should never have something called a purse. And if I take donations from crypto, there will be at least one person who gets something called a purse on my behalf, which will affect me negatively. In like a certain world where I'm not getting a purse. Question. Do I want every transaction to the public ledger? No, I would never support getting rid of physical cash. However, every transaction that I make with credit card is already being recorded. So the main difference is that Visa skims 3% and the crypto I like only skims a fraction of a penny. But they still skim. So it's just the amount is your problem. Because the transaction costs will become insane in my opinion. It's a wallet. It's a purse-based Gardner. Coin purse. No, it's a wallet. No, it's not. You're gay. I'm just kidding, dude. This guy sucks at sales despite what do you think? No, I'm reading this with an open mind and open heart. Do you want your money stored as evidence? I think this might have been a misunderstanding. Add a message, photo, a piece of code to the transaction is optional, just like a memo on a check. This is a very important feature because it allows for data storage in smart contracts. I wouldn't get into smart contracts now, but they have a lot of important applications. If you say so. I like the way the world is now. Same talk that had people let their guards down on social media data. If it's cheap, you're the product. Exactly. It's already up to like $50 to send Bitcoin, not even exchange it. Yeah, it's insane. Question, what makes it tamper-proof? Answer. The short answer is the strength of the design. Well, that's not a very good answer. What's the long one? Economic incentives make it very profitable. Well, the world isn't run on economic incentives. As we see now by Disney, all of Hollywood, YouTube. It's about control. It's about mind control. It's run on data. Oh, how dare you? If it's valuable, they'll do it. I was the highest earner on DLive when they kicked me off. And I never told people to ever do anything violent or they couldn't even use a narrative around me. Oh, he was part of the Capitol storming. No, I wasn't, and I told everyone not to go, and it was stupid. I had been making fun of Trump for 6 months before that, and Q. I called it Q-tarded. Well, you had to go there because you questioned the Holocaust numbers. Okay, well, I was their number one earner in crypto on their platform, and they got rid of me. So there's no economic incentives, guys. There is in the real economy, which I highly recommend you become part of. because there's no end to the wealth in the real economy. DLive didn't even write a good smear campaign on you because it's getting preposterous. Like, imagine a smear campaign about me now. It would only get more bears. Every time they did it, it backfired. They're like, this bigot, racist comedian, and everyone's like, me and my wife have been waiting for one to be bigoted and racist for a very long time. Where can we find him? It's like, what do you mean? It's like, oh yeah, we like when people make fun of other people. That's the whole point of comedy. Anyway, go on. Well, to avoid YouTube, he started something called Tea Time with Gary and Terry. That's fucking hilarious. Where can we find him? And they're like, no, but he questioned the Holocaust numbers. He calls it the rollerblading incident as code. Kind of like inline skating, like Tierney. That's hysterical. Where do we find this guy? We're just going to do this anonymously. We're never writing an article about him again. It's like, oh, I remember reading an article about him 4 years ago that his wife was going to leave him and he was like, his life was going to hell. Where is he now? Well, he now has 3 kids, same wife, and he has a farm. It's our dream to always have a farm. Where can we find him? What? So you're looking for him now? Yes, that sounds great. He had a song called That Nigger Stole My Bike. Ha! Same thing happened to me. Where do I find him? And they're like, he's just going to be deleted. Where can I get, yeah. Not associated with the stream. Is anyone else having issues posting on Bertari Times app? No. It's just you popping Fresh Bear because you're dumb. All right. I just saw a little sage hand. Oh, it's like, oh, and he turns out he's a cult leader. It's like, where can I get brainwashed? That Nigerian stole my Bitcoin. That Nigerian stole my Bitcoin. Dan, 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 dan. He's not scared of making fun of Jews? Dude, we've been waiting forever to see this. Oh, so you're a racist? No, I work in Silicon Valley. They're infuriating. So where can I find this hilarious comedian? So you want to kill the Jews? No. They're just real feminine and gay and entitled. Like, I love Jew jokes. And I'm also half Jew. My that side of my family was fucking terrible. Anyway, where can I see this great comedian? Are you sure you don't want to just watch Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle cuck and throw away their art form? No, that's horrible. But what about Joe Rogan? You mean the bald midget that just does all the drugs? No, I'm good. Fortunately, I got away from my buddy's basement with his uncle in the 80s. And it turned out that's just Joe Rogan. Most people do like Jew jokes. Yeah. Everybody likes Jew jokes. Everyone in the world. Even Jews. Because it's secretly deep down, they know they're femi, materialistic, bunch of fucking brain-dead retards that desperately need to be mocked because it cleans them and they feel like they're actually part of a community. It actually breaks the barriers between them and their perceived enemies. And they're like, so the other boys like me, mama. They made fun of me for once. And they didn't pretend like if they did, my daddy was going to take away their banking privileges. And then his dad comes out. Who the fuck was it? I'm taking away his banking privileges. Oh, Dad, let me be friends with the local population. Please don't make this like Guatemala again. Who the fuck was it? They're not allowed to bank anymore. Dad, just let this one go. I clipped your dick. I'll do it again. Technically, you can't, Dad. It's gone. My foreskin's gone. That's a very good point. I'm going to go back to my room and masturbate. I like Jew jokes. Jews make Jew jokes all day long to each other. Yeah. It's necessary for anxious, neurotic people. I mean, guys, Jews loved me in Los Angeles. Do you think I wasn't making fun of Jews? I mean, Jesus. Do people not know this shit? It's like, it feels good. Like, there's what gets them so paranoid. Hang on. Friend from Kiev lived through Chernobyl, won't get jabbed because she believes anytime government says something is safe, it isn't. She also says radiation is BS. Yeah, radiation is just heat. You can have radiation poisoning from exposure to ultraviolet and stuff like that, but it looks like burns. It's like infrared radiation poisoning is being burned. A flame is radiation. It's in the infrared section, which is heat. And then you have visible light spectrum, which is very small. And then you have UV, X-ray, gamma, which is hysterical. I think gamma is nonsense. I think Chernobyl is a government land grab like Fukushima. Maybe. It was all, I think a lot of times neuroses manifest. I think that the Soviet Union was, a lot of it was run by grabblers that were just paranoid, dick-biting freaks. And so they were like, hey, they're coming. Like, I don't even know how planned this shit is. I think only the demons really can carry out a psyop properly. They're trying to hurt me. Yeah, Toronto Jew Bear loves Jew jokes. Okay, want to know what's bad? Is wanting to, like, kill a race of people. Or like, oh, unless we kill the J, we can't get on with our lives. That's actually bad. Making fun of dudes for being materialistic little mama's boy gays is totally fine. This cognitive dissonance is bad. Like, anti-Semite thinks lower class humans have complete control over them. That level of irony and contradiction and cognitive dissonance is terrible. Genocide is bad, kids. Yeah, but it's you don't even have the ability of doing a genocide. Like, even all these like Nazi LARPers are like, we gotta talk about the Jewish question. It's like, you're not even capable of it. Genocide is a tricky business, and it typically requires sorcery, magic. Like what's happening right now with the vaccine. You know, it's like problem, reaction, solution. And these like Nazi LARPers are too dumb to pull anything like that off. They're just like, round him up. With what trucks? What do you mean? How do you get guys to drive trucks to round someone up? I don't know. Like I know a guy that gets it who has a truck. So just one truck? That's just kidnapping. No, we'll get like 5 trucks. How do you get like 5,000 trucks? Let me guess. You haven't thought about narrative spellcraft? What? Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. You just sound crazy and stupid. And then even if you were to round up all the J's, you'd still seek loans from the Koreans or anybody else that would give you a loan because you deal in the futures, because you're not actually doing anything for yourself. You think not fucking your wife is Jewish genocide against you. Oh no, it's because it's in our food. That's why we have no sperm. No, we have tons of sperm. Like I get Amy pregnant at will. What the fuck? Those slippery slopes. Yeah, the slippery slope fallacy has to do with Koreans. They're slippery slopes. Jessica Peterson was trolling hard by saying he thinks that the blacks should all get vaccinated first. He's hilarious. Yeah. I mean, that's one of my jokes too is it's like, I'm not going to get a vax until every black does. I don't want to use my privilege. Yeah, genocides. People can't even do genocides. It's all like a fantasy. You're watching genocide right now, but it's all like, you have to have a lot of managerial knowledge to pull off a genocide. You don't just like line people up and shoot them. That's literally retarded. If you're like in the middle of a war and a few people get a little trigger happy and start, you know, I know a guy that was in a war and his commanding officer was just shooting people, like shooting homesteaders and shit. You can do that, but you might put up, you know, your numbers are terrible, you know, a few hundred. Nobody can violently do millions of killings. It's like, at that point you need, like a psychopath can pull off a few hundred, but it's like, you need narratives, you need fiat currency, you need war narrative, you need fireworks displays, creating an idea that there's an enemy that doesn't really exist. You need people to fight for the lives of their children to pull off a real genocide. You need to get people to say, if you don't kill all these Germans, Hitler will get the bomb that will kill all your family. And that's how you get someone to do horror, by putting it like that. Like, if you don't do this, they'll kill your babies. Of course, it's nonsense. There's no bombs. Hitler would never get your babies. Oh, if you don't kill Vietnamese, the communists will get the bomb and then they'll press a button and they'll kill your babies. Where do I sign up? That's sorcery. That's because they have to get the local population to commit acts against God, which is murder and war. That's murder. Going into a village and just shooting everybody. Well, they had a gun too, wouldn't you? If a bunch of fucking round eyes came 10,000 miles to shoot everybody and control your... If a bunch of Vietnamese came to your town, you wouldn't try to shoot them? Well, they're trying to hurt me. They're trying to... The last guys that came were, so what happens is they'd have special ops guys, Green Beret types. They go in, they cut off their heads, put them on platters. This one psyop they did, which is what the Tom Petty music video is about. They'd take someone's family, they'd cut off all their heads, they'd put them on platters, so when the mail would get home, they'd see their family eating their own heads. Like real sick shit. That caused ripples of trauma so that the local population got really violent. They're like, if they come, I'll fucking kill them, because they literally watched their family eat their own heads. True story. Don't come around here no more. Give it up. Stop. Oof. I know, it is what it is. And so then when the American soldiers came in, the ones with conscience still that were from like, Kansas, the local the slippery slopes would just be like, because they're reacting to the worst thing they've ever seen. And so then the round eye would be like, we got to get Charlie. That's what they called the slippery slopes. And then that's how you create a war. To get massive death, you have to do like sorcery, magic, narratives. You can't just be like, you need a demoralized population. You need a violent, no, you needed someone to fight against the Americans in order to justify the war. If Americans just went to Vietnam without the waves of Green Berets going in and doing real fucked up stuff, the local population would be like, hello, would you like some rice? And they'd be like, I'm not going to shoot this guy. And their commanding officer would be like, you want to pay off your debt, son? You shoot that man. It's like, no. And then you'd have like a lot of rebellion. You need to get off the plane and have the slippery slopes pop out of nowhere and be like, it's like, okay, I'm now fighting for my life, because soldiers don't fight for their country. They fight for their life. They fight for their fellow soldiers' lives. By the time you've been in these hells for years, you're not like, I'm going to shoot someone so a baby boomer can eat more apple pie and stuff his face as he gets his dick sucked by his fourth wife as he's in debt. It's not very, like, you just want to go home at that point. You're like, I just want to go home. You start liking the war, like you start liking your skill set for being able to kill, and you like the camaraderie with your fellow man. Now, as soon as one of your fellow soldiers gets blown up, you take it personally, and then you go crazy on the local population, which in turn makes them do more dehumanizing shit against you. You no longer have a, rules of engagement, falls away, start committing war crimes, resentment, and then that's collapses in nations. So there's that. Okay, anyway, back to this retard talking about crypto. What makes it tamper-proof? Economic incentives make it very profitable to secure the network and very expensive to attack the network. That's really what you think? It's about dollars? So do you think right now they're making like black trans, like Captain America because they make more money? No, come on now. You're not that crazy, right? All right, anyway. The same hardware is needed for both, but to even have a chance of disrupting the network, it would take at least $1 billion of investment. What's $1? I thought you're creating a new currency. And there would still be no guarantee of success. What if the people who built the network also built the way to crack it? What if they're also the bankers that you think you're avoiding? You ever think about that? So you need $1 billion to crack the hardware that costs so much money, and even then you don't know if you crack it. What if the people who made the hardware, Satoshi Nakamoto, which means Central Intelligence in Japanese, what if the Satoshi Nakamotos of the world already built the thing to hack it? Because that's the whole point. The whole point is to get the mark of the beast to buy and sell with approval based on your compliance. How does no one see that? Question, isn't crypto inflating and deflating all the time? Answer, the price fluctuates, but supply of tokens is fixed for most types of crypto. The price stabilizes as the network grows bigger, just like penny stocks fluctuate until widely, then so we need everyone to do crypto to stabilize it. Yeah? I thought you said you just wanted people to still use dollars because it's not public. What? So it's going to be unstable unless it's widely used, and in that case, then it will fail? No, then it's the fucking currency. If they get 90% of the population to use crypto, we're like, it's the dollar's done. And you want the dollar, you want the Fed over the cryptocurrency. Over like an international currency that has no nation and no, legal recourse to it whatsoever based on fucking algorithms and backed by nothing. Are you serious? That is the New World Order currency. And all these quote unquote truthers running to crypto, like you have all these people doing all this like truther shit and research, like Jay fucking Dyer. Jay put it in my ass Dyer. So he does all this research on like the Illuminati and all this, and then he backs Bitcoin. Do you understand how fucking mentally deranged you have to be to do that? Bitcoin is the global currency. You know how like for decades they're like, well, the New World Order really wants a global currency that's like public and completely electronic and backed by nothing that can be monitored and controlled by one central intelligence agency. Yeah, it's called Bitcoin. Oh, the only way past the Fed is Bitcoin. It's definitely not Central Intelligence Agency. Satoshi Nakamoto means Central Intelligence, but it's the whole world. I prefer the CIA because at least it's ours. The Fed has been creating almost all its dollars digitally. You have no idea what you're talking about. Again, WSB. Again. There's no validation system like Bitcoin. What we have right now is unlimited banking power. WSB, you're dumb. You're a dumb person. You shouldn't talk in chats. You don't know what digital means. Just because you see it on your phone doesn't make it digital. There still has to be a ledger, and that ledger isn't public based. So right now, your dollars, like this money, so this money right here, so that's going to be tracked. When I buy it, it's public, and then they can turn off my ability to hold money. Are you fucking retarded, WSB? You're a retarded That's like the 50th. You're also a churchian, by the way. You don't think I remember every time you're like, praise be to him, and oh, this, and oh, Jesus is God, and all this. Like when you're doing your little shit in the fucking thing, and now you're backing Bitcoin. Oh, big church, big Christian guy, huh? Big Christian guy loves the global currency, the mark of the beast. Are you fucking retarded? So what? What's the most convenient way to do digital, WSB? Maybe you put a chip in your hand, in your forehead? The Fed has been creating almost it's still $1. It's still $1. They type digits into a computer, and that becomes the new money, goes straight to the bank like that, not backing Bitcoin. Both are bad. You're dumb because you are backing Bitcoin. You don't even know the words coming out of your mouth. What you just did was an argument that Bitcoin is just as valid. You argued that Bitcoin is more valid than the Fed because at least Bitcoin has a limit to the amount of Bitcoins used. You're not a smart person. You shouldn't be talking in a chat. Like right now, you should be absorbing what I'm saying and learning because what you believe is stupid. You're like, oh, but the Fed could just send the digit. Then why are they pushing Bitcoin? Why is half the YouTube commercials like, learn how to get Bitcoin for free with like Google ads and shit? Do you think it's actually a threat? When the Wall Street Journal talks about it and all that, do you think so you think that's the way around the banks? The banks own YouTube. The banks own the media. Why would they be telling you about Bitcoin? Why would Twitter allow Elon Musk to talk about Bitcoin, to talk about Dogecoin? Because it's a way around the Fed? Are you fucking retarded? Just keep your mouth shut. And I know it's your hands, but okay, you're not allowed to talk the rest of the stream or you'll be banned. If you don't have that self-control, WSB, you're not allowed to be here anymore. And by the way, in 2 years, if Bitcoin's at $1 million and you got to have it to get into a fucking stadium, I wasn't wrong. So all you retards being like when I was backing MySpace over Facebook, and then 5 years later, everybody was like, you have to get Facebook or else. I mean, it's so much bigger and better than MySpace. And I was still like, I'm sticking with Tom. Even in 2008, I had a song called I'm Sticking with Tom because it was a better platform. Okay, when and if and when cryptocurrency becomes the global squirt coin, and everybody's like, oh, it's worth $1 million. Okay, that means the dollar is gone. That means there's no accountability with your government. That means everything's terms and conditions, and you're basically in the end times. No, I'm not going to make that claim. And so if you're like, I got rich off Bitcoin, you could have bought Bitcoin for 60,000 and now it's $1 million. You still lost. You're still looking at your life like a graph. Oh, it might be nice with your cows and all your money. Unbelievable. It's because I gave up unfathomable money to do comedy that was actually funny because money isn't my motivator. And that's why I'm making more money now than a lot of comedians because there's no comedy clubs for anyone anymore. So what they did to me, what you do to the lowest, you do to Jesus. And no, oh, so you think you're Jesus? It's like, and I know there's Reddit squirt boys right now that are monitoring. What was that thing, Cod, that you sent me? You got to write that up in Unbearables Media. Born in Dark. I don't even want to talk about this shit anymore. It makes people say crazy shit. What's the difference between Twitch and DLive? With Twitch, you own your own data. Whereas with DLive, they own your data. Okay, I'll read the end. I'm not listening to this anymore. You got to go to Twitch because then you own your data when you sign up for another. It's like you can't believe that. I mean, I guess you can. Reddit trolls spend endless hours scanning content of comedian they can't watch anymore. Yeah, exactly. I hope that was helpful. I didn't mean to stir up the hornet's nest with my last letter. I figured since Stefan Molyneux already had a Twitch. Stefan Molyneux is basically retarded, in my opinion. I know he's on unauthorized, and that's great. Much love. But, like, anybody that thinks there's no God and that Bitcoin will save you, in my opinion, is retarded. So, our eye came from random chaos in a swamp? Like, what? Stefan Molyneux thinks that we went to the fucking moon. So if you're saying, oh, Stefan Molyneux is already on Twitch. Yeah, because he's motivated by the material. He doesn't believe in metaphysics. He thinks the story of God is a joke. I'm going to edit this and send it to Vax and start drama at unauthorized. I don't care. No one cares. I think, I'm not mad at people who don't believe in God. I just think it's so dumb. Because then you become motivated by the material. That's all it is. No God, damn, he's far behind. He's like 80 years old, too. Oh, I'm really hoping for Stefan to see the light. He's only 80. He's like an old dude. He's a baby boomer. And it's like, oh, he's almost there, Christians. Oh, he'll see the light. He's like a white, like all about white people, but he only has one kid and he doesn't believe in God. And he's into Bitcoin. He's on Twitch. So you should do it too, Owen. The fuck are you talking about? Any guy who fake laughs at everything he says is concerning. Yeah, he thinks the white race will save the world with his one kid. Way to go. Oh, demographics are the future. Okay. How does an anarcho-capitalist stop child sex trafficking when everyone's consenting in a contract? Well, I mean, we got to have an age where you can consent. With what? Force? So a 15-year-old, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 9, 10, 11... Tell me the arbitrary age, how many times the sun goes around this flat plane of ours. Tell me exactly at what time does the quote-unquote, what, you don't call it the state, what, the corporation? What's the ruling body that can stop a consensual contract between a 9-year-old and a 70-year-old for oral sex for money? Oh, well, they have to be under their parents' jurisdiction. Okay, until when? 18, 17, 20, 15, 14? Let me fill you in, Molyneux. You can't stop child sex trafficking in anarcho-capitalist because it requires force and morality. Morality comes from God. Force comes from the state. That's it. You stop child sex trafficking by backing Bitcoin servers on the moon. Exactly. It's like, so if you can't in your, because they won't even address it. Dave Smith, Stefan Molyneux, these people are fucking crazy. It's like, so when you see a 9-year-old holding hands with a 70-year-old and the little kid's about to suck his dick for $50 Bitcoin, how do you stop that? Oh, it's not your responsibility to stop it because that would be forceful. I'm starting to think a lot of ANCAPs are a bunch of fucking pedophiles. Yeah, they're not old enough to consent. So how old are they to consent? 18. Who says that? The corporation. So if a 17-year-old or a 19-year-old, they both are doing the same contract to suck the old man's dick for 50 Bitcoin, how do you stop the 17-year-old and not the 19-year-old? With what force and what's your justification? Because 18 makes you an adult? Your brain isn't done forming till it's 25. So a 24-year-old Stefan Molyneux still has to be under the wing of his abusive mother in England or whatever the fuck he was raised? Like, really? That's what you're pushing on the people? And that the way around it is, of course, the white race and Bitcoin? Now, I'm not saying blacks are, like, super smart and they're great at systems. Of course not. But, like, if you're super into the white race, how do you only have one kid? Well, I started very too late because I was doing philosophy. Then shut your mouth. You don't know anything. You're not a smart person. Stefan Malini took the vax, believed COVID was real, thinks we went to the moon, backs Bitcoin, thinks God's a joke. So the only thing he has is white skin and he will only have one kid? Really? And you're going to tell me to get on a fucking website so you can give me $1,000. I see how my offer to pay $1,000 set the wrong tone. I didn't want to be one of those schmucks that asked you to promote something without compensation. No. I just like using it, and I wanted you to know that you would be welcome there, and it would solve a lot of your sensitive issues. It would only start my censorship issues. If my audience accepted crypto world, crypto-based living, NFTs, and all this bullshit, censorship will get ramped up to a degree you can't currently fathom. You think getting kicked off Twitter is bad? How about getting kicked off the currency? The currency, one world currency, operated on a very easily crackable. I have friends that can crack it, guys. It's not hard. Has no one ever met a Jew or a Chinese person? They're really good at tricking and fucking cracking. 50 Bitcoin is $3.3 million. Nice. What's a dollar? Guys, you're going to miss the dollar when it's gone. You're going to miss it, and you're going to miss it a lot if you push this shit. They already want you to claim crypto on taxes. I got to pay taxes on all my lemons from DLive. Wait, dude, just wait. They haven't even started instilling the social credit score on a currency. Right now, they can get you kicked off YouTube and talk shit on your Wikipedia. Ooh, imagine a world where if you make fun of like something that they don't like, you're not allowed to buy or sell anything. And no, it's decentralized. Then why do you have to pay a giant fee to buy and sell with Bitcoin? So you don't think they can control Bitcoin? You don't think the system is pushing Bitcoin? Are you insane? All right. God, any final super chats? Oh, you went off on Malini. You're abusive. Okay. You know, I wish him well. I hope him and his one white kid do great. I hope they really take back the power from the blacks and the Mexicans who can't do plumbing. Okay, you want to really do something with a white race, Steph? Have like 10 kids. And all the rural people that are actually having a lot of kids, they believe in God. And they also think Bitcoin is a scam done by globalist bankers. Know any, Steph? All right. Toil in your soil. Stefan Molyneux has never had a garden. He's a trained actor. He thinks that pump coin is going to save him. He took a vaccine in his fucking gay little arm. Don't ever use him as a way to make me comply to retardation. Oh, you're causing drama, Big Bear. No. Stefan Molyneux wouldn't have me back on his show because I didn't think we went to the moon. Ask him. Hey, Owen, not Daniel Bear here. Wanted to say it was awesome that you followed me back on Instagram a few months back. However, about a week later, I decided social media, and now I'm off grid. It's great. Awesome. Good to hear. Digital currency will be the mark of the beast. Can't buy, sell, trade without it. Why can't they see it? Because they don't believe in God. Jay Dyer doesn't believe in God. He doesn't believe in the good, the true, and the beautiful, and metaphysical truth. He believes in a material solution to a metaphysical problem. That's why they don't see it. Because they don't actually, they philosophize and they try to win arguing against other low vibration retards. Hey, I can prove God here. Oh, I can prove God here. Then why can't you see? Maybe you should take your shades off, Jay Dyer. You're inside. You're indoors. Jay Dyer wears shades inside. And no, sometimes people can wear shades inside. Maybe they have a black eye or something. I don't know, but whatever. Been catching more of these live lately. The chat is infinitely more funny than most comedians these days. The Bears crush so hard, the community's unstoppable. Yeah. And by the way, as I'm mocking Malini, the chat is dying laughing. So if you want to pretend and make believe that right now I'm like, oh, he's so mean, he's so aggressive, it's funny. He's a dipshit. He thinks God's a fairy tale and his white skin's going to save him, and he only has one kid and a bunch of Bitcoin. Of course he's on Twitch. Jesus. He's like a black hole. The left goes in the anus, the right grips the shaft. I'm Stefan Malini. Yeah, non-aggression principle. How do you stop child sex trafficking? Well, there has to be a way. You know, the child is governed by the parent, and then the parent has to wait till you're 18 before you engage in human trafficking. No morality in anarcho-capitalism. So a 20-year-old can then sell her anus to be gangbanged by 50 guys for 1 Bitcoin because she's hungry? Is that the free market at work? How do you protect that girl without force? I would go to jail for stopping that scenario. 50 black guys doing a train on a 20-year-old white girl who's been kicked out of her house and desperately needs money for food, signs a contract where all 50 black guys can ravage her ass on camera. And then that video is sold to the world for Bitcoin. That's anarcho-capitalism. There's no way to stop it because there's no laws. There's no morality. They think God is a joke. They think that morality is a joke, that anything people pay for is legal. I can't imagine a worse hell than what Stefan Malini is pushing on the world with his one white kid. What a fucking dipshit. So 50 black guys running a train on a 20-year-old girl's ass. By the way, a 9-year-old's ass is just as legal under anarcho-capitalism. But let's just say they do have an age of consent forced on them by the corporate state. 50 blacks running a train on a 20-year-old for Bitcoin so she can get food that she's consenting to with a feather pen fucking document is now illegal. You can't, if you stop it, you lose, you go to jail because it's force. It's a little system called do as thou wilt is the whole of the law. I think I've heard that before, Malini. Malini! I'd love for him to explain all this stuff in a video. I mean, isn't he all about debate and all this shit? It's like, go ahead and explain it. How do you stop 50 blacks from running a train on a little white girl's anus? Aren't you the white guy? Aren't you all about protecting the white race? How do you do it without morality from God? Well, God, don't you know? God is a joke. God is a mythical figure that people use so they can get more sex when they're older. It's just a myth. It's just evolution, you see. It has to come that a strong storm can just swirl around a garage sale and make a jet fighter engine just out of chaos. No. Don't you see that you need more time? That's why you can't witness it in your life, even though, you know, there's a lot of organisms that their entire lifespan is 1 minute. You can watch 1,000 generations in 1,000 minutes, but yet it's always the same organism. It never changes. Weird. So 1,000 generations of humans. So is that when one develops an eyeball from chaos, from the swirling black hole of your childhood, Stefan? Yeah, I understand the materialistic argument of evolution that from material chaos, from a big bang that makes no sense, comes the eyeball of a child. Yeah? And I'm going to take fucking economic advice and legal advice from that dipshit? At least he bicks his head so you don't see he has a receding hairline from losing all his fucking minerals and vitamins from whacking off too much to his own speeches. I bet Malinu gets 5 of his own speeches up with like windows on his screen and he just jerks from one to another. Meanwhile, he's losing all his like his selenium, his calcium, his magnesium, his potassium, just all getting squirted out of his little white dick. Oh, you're being so mean, Big Bear. He's saving the white race with his one kid and a globalist dominated slave system through cryptocurrency and scientific dystopian lies. Now, of course he believed in COVID. He doesn't believe in God. Of course he believes in the vaccine. He doesn't believe in God. His life revolves around fear. Fear that he's going to lose his money or his audience, his eyeballs. So he'll do anything to keep it, including going to Twitch. Twitch, you wretch. So I hope that cleared things up there, barely listening bear. No, I will not be going to Twitch. All right. Thank you, BB from Honey Bear. Anytime. Okay, good times. All right. Atheism, materialism leads to early onset balding. It's ridiculous. So the people that own the monetary system or own the Bitcoin system have all the power. If you're in an anarcho-capitalist, free trade, global free trade world, you can't have borders to your country. That's force, isn't it, Stefan? If there's a contract across a border, why? So how do you stop that? How do you stop the flood of brown immigrants into Poland, for example? You can't. So the white race will save you, and people who believe in God have infinitely more kids. So your atheistic little honeycomb material bullshit world where you're bald, little Q-tip fucking head, where you think that if you have an agreement with money that you don't control, you can do a black on blonde anal gangbang and then sell the video to the world for a 1 Bitcoin so she can get another squirt of heroin. Really? That's your solution? God's a myth. Morality's a myth. Morality is whatever people will buy and sell. Natural law, just people are good, you see. It's the government that holds us down. No, people are fucked. People are fucked up. You go into a store in most of America, you have some fat bitch going, "Where's your mask? Put a mask on your baby." They think that having babies is selfish because of global warming. Okay? No, human beings aren't naturally moral. After being put through the fucking meat grinder of the trauma-based mind control clown world that you see right now. You need God's law. You follow God's law, or else you're fucked. You'll take that bald-ass Pied Piper Q-tip retard with this accent that comes from nowhere. Is he British, Canadian, or fucking from Belgium? Like, "Hello, I'm Stefan Molyneux." It's like your philosophy is shit. You want to deny the existence of God and push a one-world global currency and take away all moral law, take away my ability to legally stop child rape? You want to take that away? I'm going to make fun of your bald fucking head, Molyneux. Maybe next time you're squirting to your own speeches, you might think about how God designed your dick to squirt like that. And nobody went to the moon, Steph, and the earth is flat and evolution's stupid. A retard can see through evolution. The white guy saving the world with his white skin who only has 1 kid. Isn't he on UA? Yeah. I can do this and still be cool with people. I'd debate him. I'd go camping with him. My family used to fight a lot growing up. I'm extremely comfortable with confrontation. You know, a lot of people, like what I just said, they'd be like, "Oh, Owen hates Stefan Molyneux." I hate the way he thinks. I think what he's pushing on people is what I consider hell. But no, I would hang out with him. I don't understand that. Aren't your feelings hurt? No, I'm insanely comfortable with fucking conflict. I've been saying this shit for a long time. I'm almost trying to get under his skin. I want him to see this. I want him to be angry enough to explain himself. Tell me how you stop a 9-year-old. No, 20. Forget about the age of consent fucking nonsense argument that you make. Oh, that's not an argument. Okay, then give me an argument. How do you stop a 20-year-old girl from getting trained on her anus for a Bitcoin in your dystopian world? How do you say it's wrong? Porn isn't wrong. Prostitution isn't wrong. No, because there's no force. You see, if a girl wants her anus exploited for the world to watch in exchange for Bitcoin for a heroin addiction, that's totally fine. Who are we to stop that? Right, Steph? Look into Weimar, Germany and what happened after. I want to trigger him. That's why I'm making fun of his bald head. I want something that makes him explain what the fuck he's talking about. Because he does have an audience. And it's like, if you're going to tell people to use a global-based cryptocurrency and take away all of God's moral law. Well, okay, if you're really against mass migration, how do you stop it in anarcho-capitalism? Go on Twitch. Maybe you'll get the answer. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that day. Even your emotions had an echo with so much space. His head goes all red when he loses it. Oh, dude, he goes from a white Q-tip to a Q-tip that looks like it's went up someone's nose with a nosebleed. He becomes bloody Q-tip when he gets mad. Molyneux reminds me of the dude from Hannibal Lecter ate his face off. Yeah, but I mean, when your entire worldview is based around having arguments and logically debating and like you don't have any arguments, and your entire worldview is based on lie on top of lie. Guys, he thinks that they landed on the moon and drove a golf cart and played golf. That's where materialistic, low vibration thinking gets you. The rejection of God makes you a blind, pompous Q-tip. All right. And Carl Brown, BB with the high tea today. Yeah, my tea goes up in the springtime. All right, I'll just close with this. And he took the vax? Yeah. He thinks that we're standing on a spinning ball in infinite darkness and we only exist because of evolution from a Big Bang. That's where his logic and reasoning has gotten him. Then he thinks that God was a myth created by the elders of a community so they could justify banging young girls. Fact, that's what he believes. He now believes that the way around the Fed and the government is a global-based cryptocurrency with a public ledger. He also thinks that laws are the bad thing, that governments are the bad thing, and the good thing would be a terms and condition-based free market economy where buying and selling is do as thou wilt is the whole of the law. So you have an atheist, scientist retard who shot experimental gene therapy into his arm based on a disease that doesn't exist in reality. Okay. And so now he's going to give us a lecture on global economics and law. And meanwhile, all these Christians are so fucking thirsty they're so thirsty that they're just like, he's so close to finding God, pray for Molyneux. No, you like that he calls out black people. And because of that, you'll see past the fact that every single one of his arguments is stupid. Like every one. Like anarcho-capitalism cannot have borders on countries. People who believe in God are fruitful and multiply. Atheists don't have kids. He's a retard. If every white guy went with Stefan Molyneux's worldview of scientism, hyper-cerebral atheism, there'd be no kids. Because the average fucking white guy would just go, well, it doesn't make sense. I'll make less pump coin if I have a child. Wanna know who's having children? Brilliant idiot. He's not brilliant. Just because he talks like this and all those other books you see, and he can quote Nietzsche, but he's not brilliant. He thinks that baby boomers played golf on the luminary called the moon. He believes that everything in the universe came from a very small point that exploded 14.7 billion years ago. Literally. So you think you can tell heaven from hell, blue skies from pain? Can you tell a green field from a cold steel rail, a smile from a veil. Molyneux is in Canada, right? Yeah. I'm not even mad at Molyneux. I want him to explain himself. I want his masculinity to kick in past all those failed testosterone treatments and to like explain what the fuck he's talking about. I don't want a 90% compliance to cryptocurrency so that my kids have to live in a world where they're marked whether or not they can buy and sell. If Stefan Molyneux was fucking actually believed in anything metaphysical, he'd see right through it, but he doesn't. So instead, he just spreads his bullshit. Yeah, blacks have a lower IQ on average. Ooh, that's the little nugget of truth he'll like give to people and then sell them a bunch of bullshit. Yeah, half of blacks are like retarded. They know. Some are smart. You know? I mean, look. This is a statue they just did to a black guy in Rockefeller Center. It's called Ooga Booga Guy. Yeah, I mean, great observation. So you're telling me there's a good amount of blacks that are like, they're like retarded? No. Okay, so what else do you know that's so amazing? But IQ doesn't even say you're being a retard? I don't even think Molyneux's IQ is very high. I think Molyneux, his IQ is around 80. I think Molyneux would have a hard time putting together Legos without 1,000 people praising him and sending pump coin. Most black guys I know have more than one kid. Right, exactly. I think Molyneux's IQ is below the average black in America. Because the average black guy in America at least knows that pumping makes more baby. They also know how to tie their shoes and that, you know, the world isn't a spin... Like that baby boomers didn't drive a little go-kart on the fucking moon. I think that Stefan Molyneux's IQ is between 70 and 80, and he's lucky to not be cruising around in a wheelchair. I'm dead serious. I think his IQ, if he took an IQ test right now, it'd be around 70. Because his logic is so bad. He's like, if X, then Y, X, therefore, COVID-19. It's like, how are you so bad at pattern recognition that you take a vaccine? I think his IQ is around the average Haitian. I heard him say on a stream that he thinks Jordan Peterson is the smartest person he knows. Yeah, Stefan Molyneux's average, his IQ is below sub-Saharan Africa average. When you leave Stefan Molyneux alone in a room, he starts eating his own shit. My IQ is 141. I'm an incompetent super genius. You're not a super genius, Ming Yin. From what I've seen so far, Ming Yin, you're dumb. All right. 141 is not a super genius. Stefan Molyneux, when left alone for more than 6 hours, starts throwing shit at a window. I stopped watching him a while ago, but at least he'd call out the Corona hoax. He took the vax! Like, because, don't you see, science. That's what I mean. I'm not even a super genius. I'm incompetent at being a genius. You're not a genius, Ming Yin. Ming Yin, you're nothing. You're not a genius. You're a nothing. I'm just kidding. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be a little funny as we land the plane. Oh, he's so abusive to Stefan Molyneux. Stefan Molyneux simply wants the world to buttfuck for imaginary cryptocurrency for his pleasure. And you can't stop it or else you're doing the non-aggression principle. Don't spank your kid when he runs out in the street, but do set up a world where there's a public ledger for all buying and selling, and you can get gang fucked for money if you have a contract. But don't spank him if he runs into a road. Did he spank? Has he spanked? Were you ever spanked? If you were spanked, that explains it all. Because there is no God, only spank. Yeah, really? You think spanking a kid who runs out in a road is worse than backing a global cryptocurrency and a godless dystopian anarcho-capitalist state? Really? Yeah, that's what your big boy IQ gets you. You got a bald head, And when you get mad, it looks like a Q-tip that's went up someone's nose covered in blood. And I'm open to debate anytime on any topic. And if you go look in my past when there's interventions, I hold myself quite well. At least he will reject spank banks. My IQ is 33, says Chumbawamba. Finally, some honesty. I used to think my IQ was 147. It turns out it was backwards. It's 741. My IQ is 741. I did the IQ test in under a second. It's called a nanosecond. And I got it all right. Twice. Take that, Melanie. My IQ is 741. He's like, oh, 140, 130. The black is 80. The white is 105. I'm like, mine's 741. When I got the result of 147, I knew it was low. Turns out the retard who did it put it backwards, and it's in Bitcoin. Hey, Melanie, my IQ is 741 Bitcoins. Why don't you throw shit at your window a little more? Oh, and by the way, I think I'm not going to get into that. BB, your IQ is your batting average. 741. Someone told me long ago, there's a calm before the storm. I know it's been coming for some time. Some of the same churchians that get furious at me because I say Jesus is merely the Messiah and not God himself, love Molyneux. Even though Molyneux says the entire notion of a metaphysical creator means you're stupid. They're not offended by that at all because Molyneux has the answer, and it's pumping and sucking and getting squirted on for money, and that money is called cryptocurrency. So in Stefan Molyneux's world, if a young girl wants to get 50 guys to blast on her because she's out of crypto and she needs food or heroin that's now legal, every drug is now legal, but for everybody. No age limit. It's the parents' responsibility. Okay. I'll show you that world, and then you tell me if that's really the world you want to live in. So when Stepan Molyneux deletes the comments on his YouTube, he used to delete all his comments that were negative at all, that pointed out that his face looked like a fucking bright light bulb. Isn't that the non-aggression? Isn't that force? Don't you have to let everyone do what they do? It's not private property. It's YouTube, right? See, I accept it. I accept that the world is based on force and power. It's a battery. All right, I'm out of here. Continue slaying the sacred cows and calling out the retards. Yeah, because Stepan Molyneux gives you the same thing that Jesus being God gives you. Do as thou wilt. You don't have to follow any of this moral bullshit. You're already saved. Everybody sins. You're already saved. John 3:16. You got nothing to worry about. At the time of your death, Jesus will just welcome you right in as long as you say the magic words. You know, it's just like anarcho-capitalism and race solving everyone's problems. If only there's more whites, then nothing bad would happen. You see, it's the skin. It's had that to do with God or morality. No. And the banks are the problem, not people accepting loans or debt. It's the fact banks exist. So the best thing the government. The government killed 250 million people in the 20th century. It wasn't people killing everyone. It was something called the government. So why did people go along with it? Well, don't you see they'd go to jail? So why did people train and get on a plane and go 10,000 miles to shoot a bunch of rice farmers? That was the government, not the people. There's no free will, you see. There's no free will in anarcho-capitalist. Without the government, people don't do evil, you see. And if they have white skin and no government, we're saved because there is no God. And you only have an eyeball and a child's giggle because there was something called a Big Bang. Okay, Melanie, you fucking retard. Low IQ mess. Stepan Molyneux, his IQ is 19. It's called Molyneux 19. It's his IQ. It's not even 20. When you're like, hey, Stepan Molyneux, what's 2 + 2? He goes, the left, the government. It killed 250 million people. The government, the charters and laws and sovereignty of a nation state Oh, no, it's that. It's not that people are trickable and fallen and sinful, that being away from God's path is somehow the problem. Because there is no God, you see. It's only material. It's impulses on a fucking digital keyboard. That's all we are. If we can just be programmed, you see, because every time you give all your authority to science and cryptocurrency, everything goes great. Because there's no God. We can solve it with white skin and cryptocurrency. Fucking retards. Melody says, thanks for all your comedy and wisdom over the years, Owen. One of these days I'll mail a letter. I really should be Procrastinator Bear instead of True Blue Bear. Well, that was very generous. Thank you, True Blue Bear. Hey, Big Bear and other legends. Dropping a line to say thanks for the gravy and for changing my life. The past weekend we celebrated the second Mother's Day with my grandma since Operation Grandma, I love you. Yeah, I love your operation. We're going to have to do that with my mom as well. We're about to celebrate her B-Day too. This community means more to me than I can express. Thanks for the reciprocal love and support, Cactus Bear. Thank you, Cactus Bear. Choppy Bear, local store files a giant purple buy Bitcoin here sign right next to masks are required to enter sign. Insider scared Chinaman sells beer, condoms, and Twinkies to cucked whites. That is Stefan Molyneux's fucking dream. The government, you see, is the problem. Same with money. Same with dollars, the Fed. No. If you get people in mass see science, not God, who the fuck is God to tell you your spirit is in your breath? That we are made in the image of him and that we should celebrate our faces and that we shouldn't cover our spirit, our breath. No, science has proved that a mask and a vaccine, don't you see? We have experts. We have atheistic, scientific experts. And you see, Bitcoin is so dark web. It's so rebellious, you see, that they would ban it like that if it wasn't what they wanted, you fucking retards. Stefan Molyneux, the left goes in the anus, the right grips the shaft. You cannot squirt without the right. You cannot feel shame without the left. The left goes in the anus, the right grips the shaft. Stefan Molyneux. Isn't he unauthorized? Yeah, do I look like the type of guy that does that doesn't criticize people based on my association with them? Owen just promotes Stephanie. I just might go check out his stream. Go for it, Ming Yin. He'll make you feel great about your 141 IQ, like you're the answer to everything. Meanwhile, I think your IQ is 40, max. I think you're dumb as slime. All right. Owen just promotes Stefan. Yeah. That's the thing is I don't have an agenda. If my rant just got more unauthorized subscribers, great. If people are like, man, I really got to check out this Molyneux guy because he's talking my language, then go ahead, unauthorized.tv, subscribe. It's great. I don't care. Make your own fucking decision. Bye-bye, Ming. No, Ming's fine. I like Ming. Owen just promoted stuff. I did. It's like any promo is good promo for like pathological retards. He'd call you an honorary Aryan. He doesn't even know what Aryan means. It's Iranian. A lot of them weren't even white. Some were it was, I guarantee he thinks that like Tartarian Empire is like nonsense and like, I don't know. I don't care. What else you guys want to talk about before I go? I'll give myself 6.5 minutes. Which is all Molyneux needs to come 50 times. I remember when I lost my mind. Free speech. He's all about free speech too, so I'm using my free speech. 6.5 minutes, Stefan Molyneux can come 50 times watching his own philosophy lectures. 50. Yeah, 50 times. And he doesn't even get a boner. It's all limp. I remember when I lost my mind. There was something so pleasant about that day. Even your emotions had an echo. Philosophy is borderline gay. Nothing borderline about it. In order to call yourself a philosopher, you have to take at least one black dildo in your anus. Oh, that's disgusting, Big Bear. I'm not the one doing it. Stefan Molyneux is. He says he's a philosopher. Dude, to get in the philosopher union, you have to take a black dildo in your ass. It's like 6.66 inches long. It's exactly 2 Rogans. Don't shoot the messenger, guys. I'm not a philosopher. When you're out there without care, I was out of touch. But it wasn't because I didn't know enough. I'm gonna make a spiral video about Owen calling me a retard. Nice, Ming. Ming Yin. Hello, my name is Ming Yin. I have 147 IQ, but I'm not really super genius. I just kinda genius. My name Ming Yin. My penis doesn't go past my pube. Oh, you like cryptocurrency? Oh. My name Ming Yin. Owen Benjamin called me a retard. Well, I have slippery, slopey eyes, and he have big round eye. He think I responsible for COVID-19 because wet market and bat. We eat the bat. Oh, we eat the bat. That's why they call me Batman. My name Ming Yin. They call me the Batman, not because I fight crime in Gotham, but because I eat bat and all the people get sick. I don't mind when people call me gook or yellow-faced or anything, as long as they don't make fun of me for eating bat and making grandma have the sniffle. I went to China in 2005 and started the corona. I went to China in 2005. I ate bat. Then Kobe Bryant died and was buried in Corona, California. Google it. Legit. I have 147 IQ or 141 IQ. Not because I'm smart, because I brought abacus to the test. I allowed to use abacus because if not, it called racist. It's called racist if you don't. The high water mark is Molyneux squirting 50 times while flaccid from watching videos of himself doing philosophy while taking a dildo in his tushy. I think I got to go now. Thanks, BB. Much love, everyone. What a day. God bless you, Batming. I'm doing comedy. You can call it whatever you want. You can call it like, I'm Benjamin starting all this drama. I'm not. I don't do this like to the guy at the gas station. I do comedy. This is why I'm so fucking good at comedy. I just made fun of a random Chinaman for his IQ and his bat eating. I don't think he ate bat. I don't believe COVID-19 exists. Nobody ate a fucking bat and gave someone sniffles. I don't believe in germ theory. Here, this is my take on germ theory. I posted this and I'm sure this. I can never do a mellow stream at this hour. My Instagram streams at night are so mellow. I'm like, hey, everybody. Like, whenever I'm doing stuff at this hour, it's like, I guess Gary and Terry are philosophers. Good one, Red Spear. Wow, the chat on YouTube is actually kind of enjoyable. Wow, great. I think the fact we delete this every time we take this down makes the YouTube chat enjoyable because it's not like, Arr! All right, so I said, Mingsy, that's cool. YouTube chat's enjoyable. I still like my super sneaky private chat, though, because no matter how many times we get deleted, it's the same chat on Telegram. Germ theory perpetuates fear of other humans, lack of personal responsibility for health, and a warlike mentality towards nature. The germ theory is itself a contagious disease, not the non-living microscopic particles and microorganisms that it claims are disease-causing. That was by Alec Zeck. Right exactly on the money. Stephen Melini. Did you guys find that Molyneux rant funny? I just felt like he was a great guy to incorporate ranting about science, Bitcoin, anarcho-capitalism, baldness, and being gay. I got nothing against Molyneux. You know, it's just he summed up. It was an archetype. You know, you can get an archetype in someone like Stefan Molyneux. You know, a bald, philosophizing white guy who thinks his skin's going to save everyone, who doesn't really have a lot of kids. And, you know, and then anarcho-capitalism is a way to guarantee that no nation can ever have force to keep themselves their own nation. It's a globalist nightmare that he's pushing, which contradicts exactly the race narrative he's pushing. And so when you're that ironic, you're retarded, in my opinion. And I don't trust people that are that bald. You can be bald, but it's a different level. It's like that movie Powder. You know, when you're that hairless, it means that you may have actually exposed yourself to a nuclear bomb. Ironically, he looks exactly like Lenin. Lenin pushed the same shit. Stefan Molyneux is pushing global communism. Cryptocurrency is a global ledger. It's a currency that is not based in America. Oh, the Fed. It still has to go through the Treasury on a level. Yeah, and it's like, and that whole do as thou wilt, no laws to stop human sex trafficking is a big one. Anybody that was remotely into being a Q-tard that backs Stefan Molyneux is insane, in my opinion. So your entire thing was about getting the pedos out of the prison and punishing Hillary. Guys, there's 1,000 times more pedos in the sewers if you have anarcho-capitalism, because it's about free market. If someone wants to sell something and someone wants to buy it, you can't stop it. Like every single agency in the United States government that is working to stop pedophilia, child sex trafficking, which there are many. There's bears here that have to watch these sick fucking snuff videos all day and track these people and arrest them. That's the United States government. If you have only corporatocracy, only technocracy, only a medical tyranny based on fake science, it's a hell you can't fathom. I was leaning towards anarcho-capitalist. You're absolutely right about non-aggression principle and child prayers. And then apply it to everything. I think heroin and meth and all that should be illegal. Oh, who are you to tell me what to put in my body? In Bertaria, they would be illegal. We have kind of like a nation within a nation here. We're working on builder buddy programs, farm friends, you know, a non-force based, it's not slavery. It's like you can come and go as you please, but you know, you got to do work for organic food and you live like the master buddy and, you know, but no fences or walls or like punish. The only punishment is exile because it's privately owned land. The irony is I'm living way more anarcho-capitalist than Stefan Molyneux. But it's like, in Bertaria, there's no heroin, there's no meth, there's none of that shit. There's no porn, it just isn't, like all that shit that you think is freedom is actually your slavery. If I was let's just say hypothetically, I was like a sovereign who owned a very small kingdom. Builder buddies did 13 weeks a year on the castle. The rest of the time they farmed and did stuff. They ate the same meals. There's no class when it came to food and protection of children and all that stuff. But like, there would be no porn, prostitution, you know, drugs that killed people. You know, there's an argument for CBD and like natural marijuana if it is a medicinal thing, but I mean, none of that shit. So when people want that in their society, I'm like, you're insane, in my opinion. BG has more comedy street cred than BB? Question mark. Who's BG? No one has more comedy street cred than me. No heroin, but how would I relax? Exactly. But there are still BJs. I'm not going to say what you can or cannot do in the privacy of your own home, but I highly recommend you don't do BJs. If Molyneux and Crowder had a disgusting baby, I don't know what that is. All right. I may have kicked I realized that a lot of people aren't listening to Molyneux anymore because, like, I'll talk this shit and no one even cares. For a second, I thought I'd go in the chat and everyone being like, Stefan Molyneux is the leading philosopher. Nobody cares. Everyone's like, yeah, he stopped telling the truth like years ago. And now nobody cares. BB is reading YouTube. Yeah, I'm going back and forth a little bit. I'm going to give myself 2 more minutes. High moral. The Bible is written on hemp for a while. I have no problem with hemp. I have no problem. I think it's actually good. I think it's better paper. I think that there was a big media push to get rid of hemp around, who was it? Was it Hearst? William Randolph Hearst owned all these pulp manufacturing tree forests, and he didn't like that hemp was better. So he did this Stefan Molyneux type nonsense spell that, like, if a black guy smoked weed, he'll like rape your white girl. Molyneux would be like, it's not rape if there's a contract. Anyway, and so that's why weed was illegal. Stefan Molyneux is so 2017. Well, I hope he does well. He's not unauthorized. I'm going to say my piece. And because I want the world to actually get better. You know, if these seeds end up in his fucking greasy bald head and he has to start thinking about it, maybe he'll either get defensive and even crazier, which is good if he is lying, or he'll have to reconsider. Or he has a response to me, which he's never said. No anarcho-capitalist in my life has a response to how to keep a 20-year-old girl from getting gangbanged in her anus on film by 50 black guys for 1 Bitcoin to feed her heroin addiction. You can't stop that, and you call that moral? Oh, yeah, that's right. You don't believe in God. So now realize that there is absolutely nothing stopping a 9-year-old from doing the same thing, because age of consent is a nonsense concept that's forced upon you by the state, which is dictated by the Bible. No matter how fucking corrupt our state currently is, it still is mandated by God. They have to take oaths on the Bible. So they're transgressing, not you. Every time the government swears on the Bible, a government official swears on the Bible and does not uphold the Ecclesiastes and like all the legal type morality of the Bible, it's on them. They face it. It's their sin, not yours. The government is not bad. To blame the government for 250 million deaths in the 20th century is taking the responsibility away from the murderers, the people who actually did the killings. Own it. Even if you did some killings in wars, own it. I've done a lot of bad shit in my life based on misunderstandings, low consciousness, low awareness, lack of understanding of God. And I'm fine. You have to own it. You have to own it. Whether or not you had an abortion or shot a sand Mormon over in Iraq, it's a camel enthusiast. Like, just admit it. You killed somebody. Like, and that's okay. It's like, it's not okay, but like, you're tricked by not owning it, by pretending like war isn't killing. So let's go back to World War II. Is Stefan Molyneux totally cool with killing like 20 million blue-eyed, blonde-haired Germans for banks? Oh, it's the government, you see. It was the government who did it. It was the government. Really? No, it's the guys holding the guns. The government can't shoot anybody. It's not a real thing. It's an idea that people believe. Stefan is financially set and got comfortable, doesn't realize the problem has gotten worse. I don't know. I mean, he begs for money all the time. Speaking of, if anyone wants to give me money, some of that precious money, entropystream.live/app/Owen Benjamin Comedy and P.O. Box 490, Sandpoint, Idaho, 83864. All right, any final super chats? And then I'm out of here. Atheists are up against it from the word go. Well, the Churchians that hate me for the Trinity talk have no problem with Molyneux. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen. Because both of the concepts allow you to sin and not face consequences. It's the same trick. It's like, well, I've been forgiven. I've been saved. So I can just still squirt. You might want to stop squirting. All right, here we go. Final super chat of the day. Thank you, Balanced Bear. Just a tip for the Piano Man comedian. Big Bear piano riffs and roasts are invaluable. Thanks for the last laughs to make me cry. Anytime, Balanced Bear. Yeah, just to let you know, if you're isolated and you don't have a lot of male interaction, what I just did is funny. I know that when you're raised by women, you know, you're in this nanny state from the time you're born until school and the mass, and don't hurt anyone's feelings. Men do this. So don't freak out. Don't be like, oh, how dare you? It's male behavior. And I'm also right. Stefan Molyneux is a bald-headed little Crypto Queen. Dyer debated Stefan. I bet they were slowly stroking their dicks their entire time, looking at, you know how like when you're on Zoom, you can look at yourself or the other guy? They were both looking at themselves, doing a slow stroke, going, well, I mean, books and philosophy and nonsense. Jay Dyer has I don't think he has any idea of what anything about God. I think he thinks God is an idea that he can cognitively argue. Okay, that's going to be it for me. If you want to join Bertaria Times app, go to bertariatimes.com or go wherever you get apps. Get the app. It's awesome. Let me just summarize here. So the Ooga Booga statue has been built in Rockefeller Center. Let's see. Conservative host looks to own the libs by slowly adopting all their positions. Unbearablesmedia.com. Anti-Semite thinks lower-class humans have complete control over them. We're coming for you, Babylon Bee. IDF battalion designated for Babylon Bee social media likes. Heroin addict faces backlash for refusing to get vaxxed. We can steal more bikes than black people, says white supremacist. And that's going to do it for me today. Be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity and blow a guy. And if you want to send a tip to any of those locations like Bertari Times or Unbearables Media, there's always a donate button. Any bit helps. I'm not funded by crypto queens or debt or financing. And of course, as always, unauthorized.tv, you can become a Feed the Bear member for $5 a month and watch everybody, including Molyneux. Why don't you go take a watch and let me know if you think he makes any sense? Did he spank? Did you spank the child? Yeah, he's going to run the street, so I give him a spank. Oh, no, he's fucked. Is he at least white-skinned? All right, be fruitful and multiply. Don't be fruity and blow a guy. I'll see you tomorrow.